Back when I did my road trip to Illinois, I showed you in the back of my car a couple of TV sets that I had purchased. Well, I want to show you what they are. Let's start with this Admiral up here. By the way, I bought these TV sets from probably one of the best YouTubers out there. A fellow by the name of Bob Anderson, and you'd know him as B. Anderson TV. He does about the best restoration videos I've ever seen. The guy knows his stuff. He's smart, but yet he's able to explain it to guys like me who are pretty new to television sets. So if you have a basic understanding of how radios work, Bob Anderson can take it from there and get you through a television set. And he's done lots of restoration series, and every one of them are fantastic. I've probably watched every one 5 or 6 times. This is an Admiral, metal cabinet Admiral. I really love where the knobs are, and the knobs are all there. It's a cool set. Here's another one I got from Bob. This is an Emerson, and I love this thing, man, because I love anything Bakelite. This is a cool set. I'm real pleased with it. I can't wait to work on this. And of course, you know, Fred, he's got to get in the middle of stuff. He's never been on top of this television, but he's got to be there now. Fred, I think you want to get down now. Come on, buddy. Come on, get down. Get down. Down you go. Down. Go on, bud. All right. Here's another one I got from Bob. And I think he called this the Locomotive. This is the General Electric. Really cool set. I really like it. I'm going to show you a lot more about these sets when I get to attempting to restore them. I promised a couple folks that I would show these sets a little closer so they could see what was in the back of my car. Now, you know, if you know anything about cats, you know these cats are never here except when I'm doing this. And now they've got to show off because I think they suspect that this is going to be on YouTube and they're going to be famous. So, you know, Buster here, he's got to climb all over stuff. He's going to drive me up a wall. Anybody who wants a yellow cat with, I think, a hint of Savannah in him, then you're welcome to him. I haven't really done anything except put him in my basement. Okay. And finally, here's another set I get. Well, not finally. Close to it, though. Here's an RCA I got from Bob. Now, Bob has the knobs. He's going to send me the knobs. He's been moving, so they got misplaced. He's going to find them for me and send them to me. He knows he has them. And this is a cool old RCA. I think it's about 1949 or so. So that should be a lot of fun, too. I really like these old sets. As you can see, I got, like, TV sets. I have TV sets galore down here, man. And it's crazy. There's one more set that I got from Bob, and I'd like to show that to you, but I need to get back there to it. And that is this really cool portable Silvertone. It's a plastic television, and I've never seen one like it. It came with the bow tie antenna that you see on there. Cool TV. While I'm here, let's show you some of the other sets I got back there. There's an old Zenith. That was a rather low-end model when it was new. And here's a GE-A10. Bob has done a nice video series on the GE-A10. And let's see here. I got an old Zenith porthole. And I have a Motorola that someone painted. I don't have any idea why they would do something like that. But and then I have a couple of these little Sony minis that you see down there. And let's see, what else do I have? There's a nice GE, I think it's a 24-inch, I'm sorry, GE Zenith 24-inch. This is a cool set because the channel number appears on the front of that dial there. It's like a little screen. So that's pretty neat. And then finally, here is, what the heck is this? I forget. Oh yeah, this is a nice Silvertone. This is a kind of a cool, simple Silvertone in a wooden cabinet. Little 7-inch Emerson of mine. Another pretty Silvertone. I really am a fan of Silvertones. Nice Pilot, little, I think it's a 3-inch screen, little Pilot. And there's my Hallicrafters Model 811. And I've talked about my Stromberg Carlson before. I think it's called the Weymouth. There is one of my Spartan sets. I've got a couple of these. That's kind of neat. I don't know much about these guys because I have never worked on them yet. Now, I'm a big fan of these, even though I think they're common as pennies. But there's one of my RCA Victors. And I have like 3 of these. They're pretty cool. I've just bought one recently. And it has the pull-out 45 player with the radio built in. And then down below one of those doors down there is an LP player. There's one of my Motorola's. Bob had one of these, and I almost bought it, but I didn't have room. I already had one, except I'm missing a knob, and I think Bob's was in nicer shape. Everybody should have at least one Hoffman. Out west here, there's a lot of Hoffmans, and they're easy to identify because of that green screen. And they made pretty little TVs. This is one I like a lot. I think it's called the Silvertone Suburbanite. That's a neat little television. I think it's about 52 or 53. I am missing the knob though. I have an Admiral Bakelite tabletop. And, geez, I forget who made this guy. You know, I don't know if that's Sylvania or Admiral. I just can't remember. But, this, I haven't opened this in a long time. This is a big Zenith porthole. I like Zenith portholes, even though I'm not sure it's practical to try to restore them. I need to go get my buddy to get off of that television set. He's only up there when I'm trying to do some work here. So, all right, Fred, let's get you down. It's May 17th, and I drove to work in a blizzard. For Pete's sake, can we get done with winter now?
Are you trying to tell me that you're married?
I have been married, yes, but that's not all of it.
Because I love you, Mr. Bates. I know it's not ladylike to say it, but I'm not a lady and...
Well, I think that about says it all. You see, this is every night at the Wifey and Michael house. We get our own version of Mystery Science Theater. By the way, that's Buster up there, and Freddie will take his turn at some point too. All I can say is I sure am glad that Microsoft doesn't build airplanes. Imagine flying a plane, flipping on a computer, and seeing this. Okay. One of the things I've been getting into lately is photography for its own sake. I started out by being interested in photography for video's sake, but lately, since I got in a couple of cameras, I've been really fascinated with photography, period. And I've also been trying to get some people in my family interested in photography. Wifey's going out to LA to visit with my daughter for a few days, and I'm going to have her bring this along with her. I want to give this little beauty to my daughter. So I picked up one for her that when I went out looking for something to get for her, because she has already expressed an interest in photography, I was really surprised by the variety, by the sheer number of products that are available out there, used or in refurbished condition, that are actually really nice machines. This camera is a generation or two old, but it's still a very capable camera that will do her good service. And so I found this guy really inexpensively, but it's a refurbished camera from an Amazon seller. The price was really reasonable. It is a discontinued model, but that's okay because it's one that I already had one of, and I gave it to my wife so she could learn some photography. So what did I get? It's a Nikon D3100 DSLR. And so we'll take a look inside here and see what we got. All right, so far so good. Really well packaged. Lots and lots of this. I hate peanuts. I hate the ghost turds, so I'm glad that it's not ghost turds. I like Nikon cameras, by the way. I have a D5300 for me that's brand new. This will be the 18 to 55 millimeter kit lens, and that's what's is on my wifey's camera too, and it's a pretty good lens. It's a kit lens, so from what I understand, the better lenses give you better results. Well, I'm just learning, so this is all I need for right now. Very nice. Excellent. Looks to be in great condition. I have so much to learn about photography, guys. It's really kind of fun to learn this stuff. This is a vibration reduction lens, and so it's active within the lens for Nikon cameras. It's also an autofocus lens. So this is a nice lens to have. Definitely worth having. And this will be the camera body. He's done a real good job of packaging it. Really protected it. I'm real pleased with that. I would buy from him again. All right, there we go. Nice looking camera in very good condition. D3100. These are nice cameras, really nice. I won't try to take pictures with it right now, but let's see. It's powered up so we can. Okay, cool. So it looks like it's been factory reset. That's great. These are awesome cameras. I got to tell you, man, I really like the Nikon D series. For me, I have big hands. This camera just feels good in my hands. They just do. It's just the perfect size and shape for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the bag for right now. I already have a camera bag for it. So I'm tickled about this. It was a very good price. It was money well spent. So for right now, I'm going to put it away. I have this Westinghouse project I need to work on. I'll shoot some pictures with this in a couple of days. By the way, it came with a 90-day warranty. I think this is going to be okay. Very, very nice, man. Like I said, I really like these Nikon cameras. I know this is an old design, but it will take 1080p video. It doesn't do it in long clips, just like a lot of video cameras, a lot of DSLRs, but that's okay. This will be an excellent camera to have. So I'll go ahead and shut down this unboxing. So far, this has been a very successful purchase, and I'll give the guy a great review. This is out my back door at my house, and this is sort of my wifey's little garden. She and I both don't like cutting grass much, and especially we don't think that cutting grass in the desert makes a lot of sense. So she's done a xeriscape thing, and for those of you that don't know, xeriscape means you put some other form of ground cover down that doesn't require you to grow grass. And then you grow plants that grow naturally in the area. So all of these plants, and I couldn't name them to save my life, all grow naturally in this area. But there are other folks out there, like John from Arkansas, that show off what goes on in their gardens. And even though I don't actually do the gardening, it doesn't hurt for me to show off what goes on out here. Look at these beautiful little flowers on this tree. I don't have a clue what they're called, but I like them. And being from the Midwest, I really like pine trees, so that little tree is cool. She planted that from a little baby. And the same with that pine tree there and that one over there. Wifey planted all of those from little babies. And then you look up at this great big tree here, the beautiful pink flowers. I doubt that they show up in the camera pictures very well, but they are quite lovely. And Wifey has grown this tree just outside of the door to my shop so I could get the smell of the flowers in the shop. It's really kind of nice. And there's another little version of that same tree. We got lots of these, and she grows lots of flowers, but she likes to stick with the stuff that grows here naturally. So here's some right here. John would probably know what that flower is. And of course, there's the door to my shop. Sits just next to that tree. In fact, one of the branches is just sort of tickling the door, and I like that because I get to open the door and get some nice smell. Here's some pretty ground cover she plants a lot of. I'm a big fan of ground cover because you don't have to tend it much and it just looks nice. And it draws the bees. And those of you who are into gardening, you know that the bees are in trouble in North America. In fact, they're in trouble all over the world. So it's a big deal to do everything we can to help them out. So we like to plant lots of plants in the yard that the bees are attracted to. And then we don't use a lot of chemicals and crap like that to try and chase off the pests. So we figured that whatever happens naturally was meant to happen, and we let it be. You know, a perfectly manicured lawn, I guess, is okay if you're a golf course, but it never made sense to me as a yard. I mean, I kind of like, I recognize I need to get out here and cut this grass, but Wifey has done a really good job of planting things that grow naturally here. There's a bunch of clover on the grass there. You see, we don't water it, we don't fertilize it, we don't do anything. We just let it grow. And we probably have one of the healthiest lawns in our neighborhood because we're not covering it with chemicals. And it's also a place where all the birds like to go. because there aren't a lot of chemicals, the birds come here to eat all the time. Wifey did all of this work herself. She planted all of these trees. Eventually there'll be shade to the house. And it's really pretty cool. There's a lot of really nice stuff here, and she's really into the small sort of detail plants. So if you look real close, there's lots of cool plants in her garden. And she does a really nice job of taking care of them without them looking manicured. Neither one of us are fans of manicured gardens. Now she put all this terracing in. It was a lot of hard work for her. She worked her tail off for that. Really pretty. I love these purple flowers. I don't know what they are. There's Missy, our house cat. Missy came with the house. I've explained that to you before. And this is all of the grass that we have. Now our yard isn't huge. It's about 1/4 of an acre. But this is all the grass we have for the whole yard. The rest of it is this nice wood mulch. And you know, we probably have more natural critters show up at our yard than just about anybody else up and down our street. Some pretty flowers here. I'm a big fan of these kind of flowers. Don't know what they're called. Some more neat flowers that Wifey has planted. And then we have these little oak trees. And the acorns fall, and the magpies like to come and get the acorns. At least that's what Wifey's hoping for. Nice little stuff. Some nice little plants in the steps. She's done a real nice job of taking care of things. After a really busy day of being naughty, this little fella here needs a rest. So he thought he'd take one. I think I'll leave him be. All right, here we go, guys. In the back of my Honda Fit is the Zenith console I just picked up. And there's the Cobra-matic down there. I'll have to put a blanket on top of it to keep the needle from getting damaged as the tone arm bounces around. And there is the receiver escutcheon. It's a pretty nice looking radio. The cabinet is really hammered. I may not be able to do much with that cabinet, but we'll see. Oh yeah, there's a box of magic here. And I'm not going to touch these until I get home because I'll make a mess in my car. But there's a box of magic. This is a baker's dozen of Einstein's bagels. And Wifey knows. Most people don't know this about me, but I love bagels, especially sesame bagels. I'll have a couple others, but there's a dozen, almost a dozen sesame bagels down there. You see, because Wifey's gone for the week, I hate to cook, and I love bagels. And I don't have to get the other flavors that Wifey likes, because I get to eat sesame, my flavor. It's time for Missy to eat, so you see her running. That's about the only time you'll see that fat little cat run. Missy does me a kindness. She takes care of my shop and keeps mice out of it, and I keep her fed. Right, Missy? Right, Missy? Yeah. Well, I'm in a pickle, guys. I bought this radio, this Zenith. It's by the way, it's a model 10H20Z. So I don't know what that means. I have to find out. I'm suspecting it's manufactured about 1947. It does have FM, and it does have the later FM. So, and it does not have the earlier FM. So I'm gathering this is probably actually 48, 49, or 50. Because I think in 47 they were still doing the early FM. But back to my pickle. I intended to buy this because I thought the cabinet was totally hammered and I would just go ahead and pull the chassis out and use it for other stuff and keep that cool Cobra-matic. I can never have too many Cobra-matics. Look at that. That is neat. I love the Cobra-matics. They were made by Voice of Music, but they were made to Zenith's design, at least the tone arm was, and I believe the styling was too. But Voice of Music manufactured these. It's very cool. Oh, I see Missy has found herself a comfortable home in there. Oh, Missy. Yeah. Well, I was going to take this apart because, you know, the doors look like hell, and that's what I saw in the pictures, and that's photo finish, so it's really unfixable. So I thought, you know, I'll go ahead and just tear this apart, and I'll keep the pieces. But the more I look at this, guys, this thing has got some nice veneer on it. It's got some really nice veneer. It's got some nice sides. Everything looks good. It needs to be refinished, you know, but speaker cloth is original and in good shape. And the interior finish is nice. So I don't think I can take this apart. So that's my pickle. I don't need another console. I got too many damn consoles and I don't have room for it. But I'm going to make room for it because it would be a sin to take apart, to scrap something in good shape. Now that looks dingy, and that's what tricked me into thinking this thing was a scrapper. But that's actually not. It's just really faded and dry. I think they had tried to strip it because the top has been stripped. And I think they had started stripping the sides. I am not going to try and fix those doors. And I don't like those doors anyway. I've always thought that they should have made an open version of these. And so I'm going to turn this one, this Zenith 10H20Z, into an open version. It's got nice trim. I can fill in the holes where those little knobs are to catch the door. I can fill in the holes for the hinges. And I can make this a nice looking set just the way it is. That center part is nicely finished. So there's no reason not to turn this into just a nicely finished open console. And I think it would be unique and it would show off that dial because I never have liked the way the big Zenith doors closed off the dial and kind of hit it off. I will show that to you soon. Well, actually, it's probably going to be years, but I'll get on it someday. I'm going to put this in my collection along with the other 800, and we'll see where it falls in the priority list. This is on one side of our driveway. And Wifey has planted a whole bunch of really cool naturally occurring stuff here too. A lot of this stuff she didn't really so much as plant as transplant. And this is becoming kind of a little forest, and I like that. I don't mind that at all because it's a place where the birds come, and I love to have the birds around as much as I can. They're really fun. They're really nice to have. Of course, there's the old minivan. You know, I've had that minivan since 2008, and I love the thing. I don't think I'll ever sell it. I've got to work on it. Needs a little engine work. But I'll get around to that. Otherwise, it's been a doggone good van. And it's got the Mitsubishi 3.3 liter engine in it. And Chrysler sure does have the minivan thing knocked out. They know how to do it. This area was like a sea of these yellow flowers. They're almost all gone now. But it was like a sea of yellow flowers. Really pretty. And of course our neighbor has some pretty roses. Really nice. My favorite part of the yard is this right here. This is the very front of our house. And Wifey has done a real nice job of turning this from a grass nightmare into a yard full of things that just grow here that the birds love. And the bees love, and all the other insects like the butterflies and so forth love these things. You see, you know, I'm just not into the grass. It's a lot of work, and you've got to water it. You know, this neighbor here waters his grass every single day. That water sprinkler is running. We live in the desert, man, when there's a water shortage. That doesn't make sense to me. So check it out. Nice little pine tree. There was another tree here that died shortly after we moved here. It had been, I think the soil was alkali, is what my wife said, and it wasn't thriving here. So she removed that tree and put in one that would. It's got a couple of them that will. And then these flowers here were brilliant red. They were just big red balls just a week ago. Kind of like these purple flowers are. Now I've noticed these purple flowers must be really bright in the ultraviolet because you can see the bees. There's one right there. The bees just go nuts on these flowers. They love it, and we love it because giving the bees a place to be is a really positive thing. In fact, I'm thinking about starting a beehive next summer. The closer I look at these plants, the more I see they're all over in here. See, there's a little one right there. Lots and lots of bees. That's a good thing, guys, and anything you can do to help the bees out is a really good thing to do. So these bright purple flowers that look almost iridescent, those are the ones that draw them the most. Some pretty flowers that have just about stopped blooming. They're almost done. Here's some other purple flowers, and just like those first ones I showed you just a second ago, they draw the bees like crazy. There's something about purple. Maybe you guys who are gardeners can help me understand. But you know, I don't see the bees in my neighbor's yard. I see the bees in my yard, and that's a good thing because we're not poisoning them with chemicals. Real nice. So Wifey's done a good job. I'm real proud of her. I'm real proud of the work she's done. She's put a lot of effort into this, and it didn't really start to come together until this last year. She's got a little more work she's doing here. If you look up and down our street, all you see is grass. Everybody's got grass. Well, all that grass in Salt Lake City has to be watered every single day or it turns brown and dies. That just is stupid. And so about 4 years ago, we completely ripped out our sprinkler system, and all of our neighbors were horrified. They thought, oh my gosh, what's going to happen there? But you know what? It's done really well. Here's some little sort of wild roses that have just grown in our park strip. And you know what? Wifey really doesn't do much with these except maybe every now and then prune them. And I'll tell you a little secret. I really like them because it keeps the brats from messing around in the park strip. Those thorns, you know, they hurt. I kind of like that. Don't tell anybody, okay? And of course, lots and lots of fruit trees. We have a couple ourselves, and these bloom bright pink in the springtime. All right, that's it for my quick little yard tour. You can tell I'm not a gardener, but I do enjoy that my wife is a gardener, and I've got lots of photographs of this stuff out here, and I think she's done a good job. I'm proud of her. All right, guys, let me show you what I brought home from the antique store. This is I guess it's Sunday, May 21st. All right, let's take a look at this. This is a silver tone. It sure does look like a transoceanic, except a different color. And that's because it is similar to a transoceanic. You guys have probably seen these. I'd never seen one before. This is a silver tone Wayfarer. And these were made, I think, between about 1957 and 1959. This thing does have some minor issues. I didn't pay a lot for it. It's got a small crack right here that I'll have to just live with because there's no way to fix that. And it's got some other minor things. Nothing that I can't take care of. I don't know if the tubes are good. This is a 5-tube set. It's not a really heavily loaded with tubes. But it has 8 selections on the band switch. Check that out, guys. And watch this. This is what I find fascinating about it. It's like a television channel clunker. I think that's pretty cool. The dial escutcheon is not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. It does have that one crack up there in the corner that I'm going to have to live with, but the speaker cloth, which sits behind the dial, which is one of the cool things I liked about it, is in good shape. The tuning does work, and the inside of the radio is clean. So I'll show you the inside here. It does have the map, just like a transoceanic has. Pretty cool. The logo is decent. It could use a little cleaning. The handle is good. The handle is set up very much like a transoceanic. I mean, it's obvious this is a copy. And looks like the antenna needs some work because the antenna is not there. So if I open this, there is the chassis. Like I said, it's only a 5-tube chassis. A transformerless. There is no power transformer. That's the output transformer right there, I believe. There is the equivalent of the wave magnet right here. They do have an antenna using the same kind of wiring that connects lead that connects to the chassis. Oh, that's interesting. There is a place for headphones, but it's on the chassis inside the radio. And that looks like a power resistor right there. So there's a lot to learn on this thing. It'll be fun, but you know how it is. It's going to go on the list of projects. But what the hell, it's a fun project, and I did get it cheap, so that's a good thing. The Tolex is not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. All right, that's one thing I picked up today. What else did I get? Well, I'll show you this thing first. I just picked up this little ad, this original Atwater Kent advertisement. Don't even know what magazine it's from because there's no title printed across the top like there usually are. And I'm assuming this is original. I'm hoping it's original, but I really don't care because I'm going to frame it and put it up anyway. Either way, it's nice. And it's advertising the Model 20 Compact. So I'm guessing this would be around 1928 or so. So there is that. I think I paid $3 for that. And then lastly, let me show you this last thing. This I really love. This is cool. I like small radios. I like some transistor radios. But I like small tube radios too. And this is a small tube radio, just before the transistor onslaught. So I'm guessing this radio is probably about 1956 or so. It might have been later, I don't know. But this is pretty cool. Look at that. That's pretty clean. That's in nice shape. And as is common with the old Japanese radios, they give you a circuit diagram. And this one's actually quite legible, so I may scan this with my handheld, and that's how I'll get a schematic for this. And let's see, Continental Merchandise Company, Japan, made in Japan, model P50. So that's pretty cool. There's some good information on here. So at least I know, the voltages are doable. There's some 1 volt, there's 3 1-volt tubes in there, and 1 3-volt. So battery is not corroding. And I don't know, 67.5 volts. Very cool, very cool. I'm missing the A battery, but I should be able to come up with an A battery for this. And maybe I can get a reproduction for this B battery. Certainly I can run this off of one of my power supplies, so that'll be kind of neat. So, all right, well, it's a cool little connector here. I'm not sure what that connector is for. Maybe it's for external power. Maybe it's for the antenna. Who knows? But I'll figure it out. That's down the road. Very nice, says Japan on it. That'd be a fun radio to do. I got all this stuff at Capital City Antique Mall near downtown Salt Lake City. I go there on Sundays a lot because they're the only ones open on Sunday. And if you go early, you pretty much have the place to yourself. So I will shut this one down. That's what I got today. At the risk of you thinking that all I ever do is buy radios, I'm going to show you one more. And why is that? Well, because this is kind of a cool one, and I don't have any others like it. And I've always liked this style. So what is this radio? It's a 10S 587. There's a look at the chassis. And you can see from the picture here that the front of the chassis has got that really cool early 40s just pre-war radio dial design that I really like. But what I like the most about this is it is a just pre-war radio, but it's a big chassis pre-war radio, which to me makes it a lot cooler. It is 10 tube, as you can see. Lots of tubes in there. And it does have a wave magnet. The speaker is just about perfect. Looks really good. And the cabinet is in excellent condition. As you can see from the front and the back, it looks pretty good. So this is another fun radio to put on the heap of radios to do someday when I get time. There are some minor things to worry about with the cabinet right here, but nothing serious. It should be okay. All right. One last thing and then I'm done. Check out what my wifey brought home for me from California when she just got back from LA a couple of days ago, and she bought me a whole bunch of these. Check this out. Korovka wafer cookies. Now that does not sound like an American name. These little beauties are made right there, made in Russia. Now I've never eaten anything made in Russia before, so I was pretty excited to get these. And as you can see, the container is almost empty. So I've tried them and I've eaten most of them, and I'm going to show you what one looks like. These are really yummy. It's just a little wafer cookie, and with chocolate on the outside, really nice dark chocolate, and chocolate on the inside. Guys, I'm telling you, if you haven't tried these, you got to try them. They're good. Not very filling, but they're good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I ate a couple of these, and I can dive into some radio work for a good 20 minutes. Then I got to have another one. Okay, here goes. I only have 2 left, guys. I think I'm going to finish them before I get back to work on that Westinghouse. Oh, yeah. All right. Finally, from your Western Outpost in Salt Lake City, this is Michael. That's all for now.